everybody. So today we're talking about websites for writers. I am Allison Lane, your host for the creative nonfiction community. I am an editor and a developmental editor and book coach for anybody who wants to get published, whether it's a book or you want to pitch media. This is what I do. You can talk to me about it later. I book power hours and I help people get book deals through fantastic, badass book proposals. More about me later. Let's talk about you. And some of you I have worked with personally. So hi, Jesse. Hi, Candace. And Mona is always the first one. And I was DMing with her earlier. I'm so glad to see you. Happy faces. Now, before we get into websites for writers, I want to say that I'm going to be sharing my screen a bunch. So you can screenshot, you will get the replay. If you're seeing the replay and you want to make sure that you get the invitations, the reminders, and the replay sent directly to your inbox, you need to register for these sessions, which are free. Free is good. And if you already know me, you know I give away a lot of free, mostly because our community is based on sharing what you know and asking for what you need. So I'm a career marketer. I ran PR and communications for global brands that you love. Burt's Bees, The Body Shop, Unilever, the Dove Campaign for Real Beauty. I know how to get published, whether it's a book or to land an article in Elle or whatever. So I use everything I know to give because I feel like we're all better together. That's why I host the creative nonfiction community, which is free. You can invite anyone, make sure that they are good at heart. We only allow good eggs, and that means invites are good. And if you're not already engaged in that community, start posting. Ask for what you need. It's not the Allison Hour. It is all of us. We are community. So if you need input on your query letter or where to pitch, or can somebody take a look at my website, here's the link. Just post it. Ask for what you need. We're almost 800 writers. Many are published. Many have books coming out. Many have agents. Some are unagented. Some are emerging and finding their way. We're in it together. Okay. That's me preaching. Okay. I'm going to share my screen in a little bit, but for right now, I just want to get started. I don't want to bore you so that you're staring at a PowerPoint, but because that's the way I think, I am going to run through a bunch of stuff you need to know about websites for writers, what you need and what you don't need. Now, websites for writer, your website is the step one in your marketing toolkit. So if you don't have a website, you don't have a home base. You have nowhere for someone to get in touch with you, learn more about you. Your HQ, the only thing that you can really own is your website. So even if you're pitching articles and you're placing articles, if you're a published author, if you're an emerging writer and you think, I'm only pitching for the first time, why do I need a website? Well, no one wants to have to go and string together and do the digital detective work to figure out what you write about. They don't want to scroll through your Facebook feed or your TikTok videos to figure it out. It's your job to give them one stop. So whether you run a business that's related to your writing, or you pitch and you place in by yourself for the first time, or on the side, or whatever, you need a website. It's the number one thing that you own. So if you are thinking about that, or you want to improve your website, your digital headquarters, you're in the right place, because I'm going to lay a bunch of stuff on you right now. Now, for those who haven't met me, again, I'm Allison Lane. I run Allison Lane Literary. I support people who want to get published. So advocates, experts, storytellers, novelists, nonfiction, whatever. my secret sauce is finding your marketing hook and getting you out there. Enough about me. Now, in websites, discoverability is really number one, which means you want to be digital, you want to be easy to find, easy to verify. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Easy to get in touch with. What's the point of having, your website is your digital business card, but if it's just pictures and you and there's no way to contact you, that's kind of a dead end. And always engaging. So what does always engaging mean? It means you want to be a good host. So if you think of your website as your home, your website is your front door. What are you greeting people with? Is it a bunch of stock photography? No, it needs to be a picture of you or what you represent. So do that. Greet people at the front door and offer what they need. You wouldn't just invite someone to your house and say, like, just meet me in the back. We'll all be hanging out in the den. No, you open the door. So when you do that, you want to give people a tour of your house so that they know what they're interested in. So what that means is if you are doing any of the following things, I give you a big thumbs down. And that would be when the technology impedes my experience. So if your website is not responsive, if it doesn't change size based on whether I'm looking on my phone or a laptop, then you need to rethink. And nowadays, that's pretty easy to make that change. Or if you've chosen to develop your site so that the template that you spent a lot of time developing your site layout and whatnot, and then every once in a while, the technology, the back end will update. If you played with the template so much that it's stopped being a template and it's like a one of a kind, it won't update right. And every time WordPress updates its templates, or Divi, if you're using a Divi theme, or GoDaddy, every time it makes an update, your website will be jacked up. And jacked up it makes everybody sad. It's not at all, it doesn't feel good when you take the trouble to go to somebody's site and it's all like, it looks like a Picasso, painting. So the second reason why you would get a thumbs down on a website is if your content isn't up to snuff. If you have grainy images because the photo of yourself that you really like is from 22 years ago and it wasn't even digital, you took a picture out of a photo album, or if the word wraps are layered, you have to be really careful about word wraps on digital, or if you have broken links. We're going to talk about photos in a minute too. Also, if the meaningful context is hard to find, if you are trying to be too clever with giving people what they need, where, maybe you provide links or a list of your publications, but there are no links. Well, I want to see the actual work. I'm not looking for your bibliography. Or you have testimonials with no context of who's the reviewer. Like, Allison, so great, says Mona. Like, in what does that mean? I mean, I know that Mona would say, Allison's so great, but we have to give people what they're looking for. So there are, I call it 5 must-haves for every writer's website. And I'm going to show a lot of examples. And some of you have submitted your own site and asked me to do a little review. So I've done that. I've made a bunch of notes. I'm going to try and get to a lot of sites. Okay, 5 must-haves for every writer's website. So what you want number 1 is a URL that won't change. So if you're writing your first book and you think my website needs to be named my book, allisonsbook.com, no, because I'm going to write more than one book. You're going to write more than one book. You're going to write more than one article. What if you write a book and then you also want to write articles. Like, how am I going to know your URL name if the articles are something else? So it's fine if you're like, oh no, I wanted to own my book name as a URL. Super. That's like a vanity URL. But you want your home base to be, jessiefine.com, Jessie, I see you. And you want one statement of your mission or your purpose or your manifesto. Your mission cannot be writer. We know you're a writer. What do you write about? Third, your contact information. Yes, we want to contact you. Signing up for your email newsletter is not the same thing as getting in touch with you. Getting in touch with you means any way that I want to get in touch. And so that means, what if I only like Instagram and you only provide email? I don't want to write you a digital letter. I just want to be in touch with you in the way that's good for me. 4, your credentials. Who are you? That means your bio. Like, what is it about you that makes it cool for you to talk about the things or write about the things that you're talking about? And so your bio can be really sticky and really short at the same time. I'll show you how. And 5th, easy to navigate. I don't want to have to feel like I need some sort of map to get around your website. Okay, let's talk about, what do you write about first. So what do you write about needs to be specific. And also, if you were collecting words, you want words that are not the same, that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. So if you're writing about long lost friends and community and Southern baking, well, that automatically gets specific. But if you're writing about long lost friends and friendship and growing up, well, those seem more like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. So it's super helpful if you get specific about what you're writing about. Maybe you're writing about gardening and sobriety and healing from trauma. Like those 3 things. Like, maybe gardening is a pathway to healing. I don't know everything you're writing about, but pick 3 things that are not the same and put them together. And that's how we get a sense of what you're writing about. When people say, like, oh, I'm writing about, healing from trauma, like, in what way? Or I'm writing about, gaining confidence. Like, can you give me a little bit more? Because it's just not enough. Gaining confidence and horseback riding is different than gaining confidence and public speaking. So anybody asking questions, just holler. I'm going to make sure that chat, I can see the chat. No, Mona's just, once again said that she might be vacuuming. So I'm going to want to inspect that. Now, website tools and tips. So always start with free. Free is good. So website tools that are free, I'm going to lay a bunch on you right now, and then I'll probably show you a bunch. So if you start with 3, then you want to collect your content and develop that content before you start laying something out on your website tool. So your content is your bio and maybe a couple of keywords, your email address, where people are going to contact you. Put all of that in one Word document, one Google document, and one image of you. Again, your image needs to be digital. It needs to be high enough res, because if it's not quality enough, it gets grainy. And then the other images that you're going to end up using on your site might actually be, they might be like stock images or stock graphics. And then your photo, your image of you that you love from when you were 13, or, in some of the best pictures I've ever taken, I was 27, but like those days are past. That was 25 years ago. So I can't use that photo one, and that was before digital. So I would literally be taking a picture of a picture, which would be stupid. But it would just make everything look like, why would she use that photo? So one picture of you, and then put everything in one place with your bio. Now, website platforms that you can use would be Wix, that's W-I-X, or WordPress, or Strikingly, or Squarespace. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen so you can see.
And Allison, WordPress has like a WordPress.org, and then there's I'm just putting a plug in. I think the WordPress.org is the like free nonprofit one versus like WordPress.com, which I think is like I think costs money and like takes data or something. But I've heard that too. Like use WordPress.org if you're using WordPress. I don't know if you've heard that.
Well, yes, I have heard that. And I think the distinction is that WordPress is a blog platform and also a website platform. So I'm going to show you my site, which is a WordPress.org platform. It's counterintuitive because you'd think the org is actually the nonprofit, but it's the website. Like if you want a proper website, it's WordPress.org. .com is actually the blog platform, which shows up like a blog. And some of you have provided WordPress sites that were developed on the free version. I have the paid version. It's not that expensive, but also I run a business, so I need that. Vicki, you're asking a question.
Yeah, I have my blog on WordPress.com, but I also I wrote a book, so I mean I can do. People can shop on it. It's multifunctional. It's not just my blog. It is .com though. It's not the org.
Got it. Okay.
I didn't want to confuse people. I just wanted to point out, I didn't know that there was like a .org and a .com. there's pros and cons to each one, supposedly.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back here. So I want to get through it. First of all, if anybody has any questions as we go, I keep checking the chat, and then I'm going to, let's see. Somebody is asking a question here. We'll get through a couple of things. Rachel has some questions about where to put things on her site. Yes, we are going to cover that in a minute. I think I was about to share my screen. So hold on one second. Sharing. Okay. So these are the platforms that I was just talking about: Wix, WordPress, Strikingly, Squarespace. All of these can work for you. Okay. Now, if the image of you, forgive me, please, you just want an image of you, like casual is cool. Good lighting. This is what we want to see. We don't want to see, a bunch of background, you at the county fair with a bunch of stuff in the background. We also don't want to see part of someone else. This is what we call the grip and grin, where you're with someone else, you're at a wedding or out with the gals. We also don't want to see a ton of cleavage unless that is your brand, because we just want to see who you are. We want to feel immersed in your face and in your eyes. So TJ Butler's site is beautiful, lucky because her partner is a professional photographer, but I point this out because she is facing a window, and you can tell that, or most of her is, because the light is really even. That's all you need for a great photo. Face a window so that the light is even, and let's get you in the image. Also, in terms of the layout of this photo itself, her face is in the upper half. Okay, so we don't want to see the ceiling or, a ton of the like sweeping vistas of where you were on your vacation. That's for a different photo. I mean, I would love to see all of your sweeping vistas, but also clean and crisp is what we're going for. So if you are, this is Abby Alton Schwartz. She is a professional writer. I'm going to hop to her professional site in a minute, but I just want to show you that her site is very clean and crisp. She knows exactly who she is. She is a copywriter, an essayist, and a journalist. She also writes, her bio is written really in reverse chronology. So the most important things are up front. So this is another statement about what she is. She's a healthcare marketing consultant. She writes about, and let's look at this, parenting, family, chronic illness, self-employment, relationships, humor, health and aging. Her work has appeared in the Washington Post, the New York Times, Wired, and more. She's currently writing a memoir about parenting, illness, and hope. And then here is an image from something that she's written recently for Brevity blog, Thinking Like an Art Director Can Make You a Better Writer. And here's a great photo of her, which looks like a selfie, but you know what? It works. And just so you know, when you take a selfie with your phone, usually phones are defaulted to take a photo that is 2 megs, which is perfect. It's actually quite large, and you can use that on your site. So feel free. Okay, here, this site is from Jennifer King Lindley, also a professional journalist, but it's very clear and playful. She has chickens. This is one of them. She is a health and wellness writer. It is super clear. And that is what I like about these particular this particular piece. You guys can see this, right? High res. How do you know if your photo is high res? Good question. I will tell you in a second. Okay. Also, mesmerizing. You definitely can be mesmerizing. There are a couple of sites that I love that deliver that mesmerizing. Like if your brand is all about the environment, perhaps like Candace Kale, who's on this call, then yes, we want to see some of you live in Denali in Alaska. Yeah, we want to see a photo of you somewhere out in the, I don't know, the bush or near a bear. Not near a bear, that sounds dangerous, but near something that says what you do, because a picture is going to fill that in for us. We don't need you to say, you know, Candace likes to go hiking. Like, we get it. There's a picture of you near wildlife. And I'm going to now share my screen and show you a bunch of just give me 1 second. I'm going to get down to some. Oh, you guys are going to be like, this is a hot mess of photos of images, but I want to show you live what we're talking about. Screen, you get to see my whole scene. Okay, so here is Abby's site. Come on, little Abby's site, you can do it. Okay, are you guys seeing Abby's site? Nodding, nodding. Okay, so I want to just point out, her site is not like crazy. It's pretty new. She just launched it in the last couple of months, but it's very clear and it's easy on the eyes, right? Now, if I were Abby and she's a client of mine, so I have told her this, saying copywriter and essayist and journalist, kind of the same things, but she writes about advocacy and being a parent of someone with chronic illness. So I would, change this. But she's trying to do 2 things with her site. She's a freelance writer about certain things, and also personally, she's writing about certain things. So it's hard to thread that needle. What I like about her site is that it is, you scroll, you get what you need, and that you're not going to get lost on her site. And so that, and then she has this little pop-up, which is cute. What we don't need to see on our site is home. We usually, there's like a logo up here, and that's why nobody ever needs a home in their navigation. Just put your logo or something up here. And then we have an about and a contact. Very simple. Simple is good. Okay. Here's somebody else's site that I really like, and I always come back to. I don't know this writer if it loads because I have 1,000 windows open. Come on, the gerbils in the matrix need to come with me. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, sweet Mother Mary. Okay, come on, you can do it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this site has quite a lot in the navigation. So I always say combine your blog and your essays or your media coverage or whatever, just put it under one. You call it, news and writing or something, because as a viewer, I know that you are categorizing, well, that's something that hasn't been published elsewhere, and this has, but unless your blog has, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers, you can put it all in one place, even if it does. So just put all your writing or all your publications or whatever, even speaking engagements, like where you're showing up, put it in one place, because ideally you have 5 pages tops, but start with one. Okay. What I really like about her site is that this photo is just total eye candy. This is Medrushi Ghosh. And I love her bio itself. A essayist, daughter of refugees, immigrant, scientist, cook, immigration journeys explorer, conversation maker, extroverted introvert, roots in New Delhi and San Diego. Now, if I were, advising her, I would say we don't need to know that she's a conversation maker. Like that, that doesn't add anything, but definitely daughter of refugees, immigrant, scientist, cook, and that she's writing about those I think she could just pare that down. I also love this statement here, which is kind of varied, but I'm just going to highlight it. I write about food and how it morphs the immigrant journeys. Besides food, I write about science and women of color in science. Awesome. This is fantastic. Tell me your story. I'm here. And then she gives you, where you can find her. And that makes it easy on the eyes. Okay. This is now somebody had, before I hop into, I'm going to go to the questions for a sec and stop sharing so I can, and then we're going to hop into some fast consults. I have a lot of you submitted your sites and wanted some input, so I'm going to give it to you. Rachel says, hi Rachel, I have 2 old articles I wrote in magazines. I'm wondering whether to link them in the website, and I'm using the Authors Guild to make my website. Yeah, whatever publications you have should be on your site. If they were published when God was a boy, make a nice image of them. You can actually take a picture of, if you have the hard copy, you can take a picture on your phone using the Notes app that comes with your iPhone. I don't know about Samsung, but it comes with your iPhone, and it actually makes a scan, and it takes pieces that look yellow and it makes them look white, in terms of the paper, and it looks nice and sharp. So you can even showcase those if your piece isn't available on a website anymore. So yes, import those. Rachel also says, I made an email address for a Wix account, but now I'm switching to an Author Guild website. I'm wondering if I should make a new address. Yeah, if you're not going to be using a Wix site, then don't just simplify now because your site hasn't launched yet. And if people are not emailing you already at your Wix site, simplify. Later on, you're not going to want to be managing your email address that's over here and your Authors Guild over here. And, you know, maybe you'll have an email newsletter that you want it to be manageable. So simplify today. Mona asks, you said high res. How do I know if my photo is high res? In your documents, you take a look at the photo, you know, in the list, and it'll show you how large it is. And it'll say like 8K, 32K, or, you know, 92K. And you want your photo, I like it to be, well, it needs to be 300 DPI, but that doesn't really translate to the Ks. But you want it to be, you know, 1 MB, or, you know, more than 300K. So if it's like 92K, it's not big enough. And it just means that the photo might be awesome, but it might be like itty bitty, like a tiny postage stamp, and you don't want that. Okay. Eileen asks, what would you change Abby's description to? Well, I think I addressed that because I know what she's writing about, parenting an adult child with a chronic illness. And she's writing about generational anxiety, which she did not realize, but she is. And so when she and I were working on developing her writerly marketing roadmap for the next 6 months, we spent, you know, in the course of an hour and 15 minutes, we developed her entire marketing roadmap, what she's going to be writing about, and pulling together those keywords that are just so much more descriptive, because essayist doesn't say anything. It doesn't say where I'm going to find your writing. It doesn't pull me in. What am I going to read when I read your essay? Like, I want to know. Jesse says, how old is too old? Are you talking about people, dogs, horses, your writing?
Sorry, I was talking about the clips that was to an earlier question. I mean, I have some good stuff that's very old. Is there a cutoff? Like, we don't want to share something that's more than X years old.
Well, great question. So Jesse's agent has her manuscript out on submission. Congratulations, Jesse, for getting your agent in your first round of querying. This is a happy dance. I know, right? People, her memoir is like, it's incredible. So how old is too old? Well, you know, we want to see what you're publishing today. But the thing is, when Jessie pitches, she places. She'll let me know, like, hey, I'm working on this piece about this. Where should I pitch it? And I'm like, well, I think you should get out. She has a bunch of stuff that gets picked up by the Huffington Post. Ariana Huffington is a fan of her work. So like, okay, well, now you already have the Huffington Post feather in your cap. Diversify. And so Jessie's been getting picked up in other places now because you don't want to just be the Huffington Post poster child. So Jessie, for you, I think that it would make sense to have a little bit more because you're not new. However, if Jessie hadn't been published, at all in the last 10 years, and the only thing she's ever published was 10 years ago, that's kind of not the story that you want to tell. So yeah, Jessie, put it out there. Put it on your site. Let's get it up. Jeanette says, Genius Scan has an app that also does great scans of paper documents. Oh, I never thought of that. Thank you for the tip. Vicky asks, how can you change pixel on a photo? You can resize your photos by right-clicking, opening, and then it gives you then it asks you if you want to resize, and then you can resize it in a square or by pixel size or whatever. So it's pretty simple to do. Rachel says, great info about using Genius Scan and Notes. That's my challenge. I have paper versions of articles and in magazines, and I have links to the whole magazines, but I haven't had any way of getting the links to the individual articles. Yeah, I would scan, or Rachel, what you could do is if you just want to have like a really nice photo of the page in the magazine, take a screenshot using, your snippet app that comes with, I think you have I think you have an Apple computer, and save that as an image. That way you don't have to scan anything. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna go into rapid fire. Let's do at least 10 minutes of rapid fire show and tell. I'm going to go. I have a bunch of people's websites open and I have some thoughts. Okay. I'm going to move all your gorgeous faces for a second so that you don't have to see me bouncing around like this, and we are going to do it to it. Okay. This is Mariana Marlowe's site. Okay. And at the top, again, it says home, but it doesn't say her name. And this is a gorgeous image, but I want to know that this is Mariana Marlowe's site. So Mariana, are you writing about being a feminist and Latina and a memoirist, or are you writing something else? I don't know from this. I'm a feminist, but I write about tenacious daughters and the atrocities that we all women get used to, the traumas we call normal. But that's not on my site because my focus is really editing and supporting other writers, because that's what I love. So Mariana, I want to see a little bit more of like, what do you write about? What can I look forward to? And I know it's here. I also don't need this little arrow because I know how to scroll. Okay, so just so you guys know, you click on this and it goes to the next thing. I don't need that. So Mariana's just putting this together. So she very bravely shared this. I love this. These colors are, oh my gosh, they're so immersive and great. I would remove home from the navigation because I don't need it. Mariana, you can use Canva, CANVA, to develop a little logo and put it up here in the left-hand corner, and that becomes your home button. Okay. Also, Mariana is a psychotherapist, psychologist. So I got confused when I was looking at the navigation here, because Works, I thought was like where she was going to put her publications, but you click on it and it goes to therapies and booking time.
That's not me.
Oh,
I'm not a therapist, and I do write about feminism and being a Latina.
Okay, perfect. So feminist, Latina, and I would add something else, like being a Latina as relates to what? I have a client who writes about she's Latina, and she writes about the pressures of being the perfect Latina mother, and as it relates to her infertility struggle. And so it's very, and about perfection in the eyes of God. And so she's putting those three things together is like a nice jigsaw puzzle. So that's what I would do, is just be specific. This photo of you, by the way, is really great. And I love how you did that. How you removed the background. You did look super wise and knowing. So definitely dig it. You're like, I am wise and knowing. And selected works. We all have breasts. We all have wrinkles. And yes, fear. So this is a smart way to feature your writing. And again, guys, this is just, Mariana just put this together, and this is kind of the blueprint of what her future site will look like. Yeah. Also, I love to hear from my readers. Mariana, I think maybe you could hyperlink this, but I'm not sure that you need that. You could just say, get more specific about what you want your readers to share. Like, what are you writing? Give me your ideas on being Latina and feminist. I mean, ask them something specific is what I would do. Okay, let's move to Candace. Okay, so Candace Cahill. I'm going back to your home page. It is taking forever. I'm going to close some things and see if it reacts better to me. Okay, so you guys see this? So Candace has this crazy, incredible, immersive photo that tells us where she is, but then she doesn't tell us here. So Candace, her book is, she just signed a publishing deal. Congratulations, Candace. And she has worked out her pitch, her marketing material a couple months ago. She did her back cover copy during one of our compassionate critique sessions. So she's been all in the creative nonfiction community. And she writes about adoption and loss, intentional living, and creative nonfiction. Candace, I don't think you write about creative nonfiction. I think you write about something. I think what you're writing is creative nonfiction, but you're writing about something else. And you have a couple of keywords buried in the rest of your site that I think you should put up here. Also, I can see that you put your husband's design on your homepage, but all you're doing is driving people away from your site. So unless this is also going to be his site, because he's a designer, I think his site is here. It's like you invited people.
It's my other business.
Oh, okay.
But I agree. I've been thinking about moving that. So
yeah, or put it up here. You know,
okay.
Put it like, you know, buy my jewelry or something. Like when I saw designs, I was like, is she giving a shout out because her husband designed her website? I didn't understand. Okay, so I made a big list of, because I previewed a couple of things. So here's what I love about Candace's site. She has this amazing immersive photo, but she hasn't told us where she is. And so is she on vacation? No, she lives in freaking Alaska. So own it and write about that. She has 2 sort of key phrases in terms of SEO. So that's super helpful. And then I would swap out creative nonfiction with something else. Down here, we have coming in November, Goodbye Again, a memoir. So you probably don't have your cover yet, but when you do, I would put it up here, drop it in, or you can use Canva. And does everybody know Canva? I'm going to go to canva.com so that you can see how to use it. Canva, you can use anything. Do you want to create a logo? Sure, I would love to create a logo. Here are all the different types of logos. What if I am an artist and I want to create a logo? You can just use their design and put your information in and download it. And the free version is just fine. You don't need anything else. And that is how Aileen Weintraub, who just wrote Knock Down, a high-risk memoir, that's how she's creating all of her social tiles, which, you know, I showed her how to use, and then now her son is her social media manager. And isn't that great? Okay, so this blog, let's see, keywords. Oh, the other thing, in terms of your keywords, Candace, you might want to think about travel and adventure, or, you know, living above the like freeze line or whatever it is. You know, like the real ice road truckers. So her book is about adoption and child loss and healing, but is it also about what readers are saying. So I'm not going to get into everything about her book, but here Candace, you're burying the lead, girl. So Candace Kale is a first mother and an LDA, late discovery adoptee. And that needs to be upfront. I mean, so you're a birth mother and you just discovered that you were adopted? Is that right?
So, yeah, am I on? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother story. There's going to be a
Well-
whole thing all about it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, so put that up front. Like that is pretty darn incredible. And that should be in your headline. Yep, and she resides. This is not the way that you talk. You live in the wood, with your hubs in the woods of Denali, Alaska, and you work as a park ranger during the summer, running from the mosquitoes that are the size of bluebirds, I'm sure. So we want to see a little bit more of this. Self-taught silversmith, plays 5 musical instruments. Don't tease me. What do you play? Like the harp and the saxophone? I want to know. And then let's see, for your blog, I would import the blog. Right now you just have, oh no, that's what I was thinking about somebody else. Media. There are more keywords here. This blog looks really good, but then you might want to just combine media with blog, because it's like where you're showing up. You're doing podcasts and here's what you write about, but you've got a bunch of other keywords buried here. So this isn't for media, this is actually coverage. This is all coverage, plus publications. So I would merge your media and your blog. And also, there's no way to contact you. So other than down here, this email address. So I would add a contact me in the navigation. And then that's also where you put your social media profile, because what if I don't want to email you? What if I just want to follow your journey? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I want to get to a bunch of others, so I'm going to go super fast. Michelle Dawson Haber, let's go to her home, is an incredible writer, and her first byline was in Salon. Can you believe that? And then here's her homepage. We have this picture. I think that, Michelle, where are you? Your picture needs to be up front, or an image of your piece in Salon. Like, I want to see bylines. I don't want to see a picture of, I want to say, of whatever this tree is, a Japanese maple. And your featured work and your blog put on the same page, because there's not a ton on the blog, but you've been on This American Life. Yeah, that's a big freaking deal. Unless you're, Brene Brown and you need a featured work separate from your other work, all the work and all the writing and all the ways you're showing up, put them on the same place. Okay. So let's see, she's been on This American Life. Here she is in Modern Love. Are you kidding me? Put this on your homepage. Here she is on CBC Radio. Here she is on Salon. She is super legit, but boy, this homepage does not represent what a badass she is. So Michelle, you are much more of a badass than is coming through here. What else did I want to say? Oh, where is the contact? Contact is, yes, contact me Well, they're already contacting you. Why do we have to do it here too? Just email, and then you're doing a great job. Contact and newsletter. Let me get this straight. So this is the sign up for the newsletter versus just an email. Huh. All right. I think you should be more clear about that. Sign up for a newsletter versus contact me should be, different. Okay. But dang, Michelle, your work is so incredible and I really love it. Anne Richardson in the UK, My Books and Other Matters. You are also bearing the lead. I know that you wrote a book. I want to know what you write about. Put your keywords up here. Your books and your blog. Put all your writing together. This makes me as the visitor of your site, it makes me wonder like, well, why would I want to go to your blog if all your books are here? Plus your talks, plus contact me is good, but maybe I would merge about me and contact me because they're both about you. I would just say about and contact. And you have an awful lot of text on your homepage. So this is a lot. I think that this is marketing copy. I really like this, Life in Hospice. This is incredible. And I am, people who work in hospice are incredible. I am a certified end of life specialist, but mostly I just write ethical wills for people, sort of capturing their last stories. So I don't do what you do. Very active blog. I just think this can be more clear. We want people to know where they want to go. Right? This is the speed round. Okay, Constance Camille. Go ahead.
I just said thank you.
Oh, you bet. Constance Camille, this says author and poet, and then on your homepage, then it says that you're an author, a writer, poet, and photographer, but I think that your bio being on your homepage, it makes a lot of sense, but I think you just need to describe what it is that you're writing and what kind of photography you do. But putting your entire bio on your homepage, I would write it in reverse chronology, because right now it reads like, first you went to college, UCF, University of Central Florida. My uncle taught there for 30 years. And then you're kind of burying what you're doing now. Most recently completed her poetry chapbook. So I think you can pare this down and make this more like eye candy. And then again, your portfolio is just photography, but I would write a little bit. This is portfolio of your actual, let's see, publications. Publications, but it needs some photos. Maybe you need a gallery or something so that we can take a look. And then events looks like this is just where you've been. I would add photos and let us, get immersed. On your blog page, you share that we can follow your blog here, but I would just import the blog. And your blog name is Connie Owens, which for a minute there confused me. I realize now that Connie is short for Constance, but in my head, I was like, who is that? That's different. That's a different person. So I would try and be as consistent as possible so that people know that when they come across you at a different place, that it's still you. Let's go to this one. Hold on there. I think there was another one that I wanted to show you guys. I'm just going to close some things. Let's see. Mary Delia Allen. I'm just going to cover the stuff that we haven't covered before. Mary Delia, this is an amazing photo. Great photo. We know where she is. This is a great color. This is your new book. I love it. How to connect, inside story, awesome. Now, I am not as smart as anybody else, but I was like, what does IES stand for? And now I realize it stands for Enjoy Your Solo. I mean, genius. However, it also says up here, support MDA. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And it took me a minute to figure out it's Mary Delia Allen. So I would just wonder about, are other people confused? But other than that, I think that you are doing a great job. I don't know that you need to put follow and connect on social media like we get on social. So you probably don't even need that. I think you could just put this in the footer of your site because people came to your site. Why do you want to invite them to leave right away? Put that kind of stuff in the footer. Okay. Miriam Steinberg asked particularly, hey, I'd love some help. And what I'd say, Miriam's book, Catalog Baby, and her website is called catalogbabynovel.com. And so what I would say, Miriam, is that you need a site that is miriamsteinberg.com because you are writing a lot of stuff. And you have 9 pages of your site. And I think you should merge some of them because blog and in the media and musings can all go together because it's all your publications. Do you need to buy the book? Probably not. And you can definitely put more on here. This is her, it's a memoir of infertility. And bye, Kavita. Going to Debbie Lewis's site, whose book Kitchen Medicine is coming out soon. MacGyver in the Kitchen I freaking love, but do we need to know that you're a human? Probably not. I think that's good. I think we're good on that one. And I would stick with, what are you literally writing about? Food and how food is not love, or how food is a way to our hearts. I don't know. I think you need a couple of more key phrases for your SEO. I would take a look at like medical challenges, parenting and, chronic illness. I think that would definitely be more helpful. I love the design of this site. It's really, really easy to look at, easy on the eyes. And if any of you are interested in this book, I highly recommend. Let's see, Mona, you shared your site earlier. I like this. This is a really good looking template that you're just getting started. So I would just say, get clear on your words and do not quote another writer on your site. We don't go to your site to look at somebody else's words. And I just wanted to show you my site because, you have to trust that we are all in this together. My site it's not perfect either, right? So I've got up here, I've got, one-on-one, you can work with me one-on-one. Here's to the creative nonfiction community, which is, fast and furious. You can click on it and sign up to get the replays for these sessions. This is me, and just scrolling down, coming up, websites for writers, here we go, and making it really easy to look at, right? Testimonials, my writing is all in one place, I don't have a blog, but I do use Medium to get published on Medium publications, and then about and contact is right here. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody's questions? I'm going to stop sharing for a sec. Candace Kale, that is a beautiful image. I don't know who you're talking about, but probably TJ Walker. Jesse Fine says, Allison, you are the queen. I need to run back to my day job. All so nice to share this time with you. Love to connect. Yes, everyone put your social handles in the chat so that you can meet each other. Mona Maya said, why did it go to therapy when you click on works? That was just a template for Mariana's site. Mary says, thank you, Allison. This was so informative. I have to leave, another appointment. Kavita. And Vicky asks, is it too late to send you our site for another time? No, it's not too late. You can always share it share what you need in the creative nonfiction community thread. So if you need help, ask for help. If you need a point of view, ask for a point of view. If you want to get help live during our creative nonfiction community live chats, then show up and ask while we're all together. So we meet every other Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, 5 p.m. in London, and to address a topic that has bubbled up in the community. And sometimes that's could be, blinding fear. Sometimes it's how to pitch media. Sometimes it's websites. That comes up a lot. So whatever you need, I share what I know, and then I take Q&A. And a lot of times the people who are answering the questions in the thread aren't me. You're getting somebody else's point of view or a lot of people's points of view. Even here, if you are, an expert or you're have a point of view about one particular agent or what not to do, please share it. This is not the Allison Hour, but it is my pleasure and honor to support this community. Anything else? Let's see, chat. Candace says, so helpful, Allison. I love studying everybody's sites. Mona, I'm glad you learned a lot. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you next time and see you in the community. If you need help, you can book time with me, AllisonLaneLiterary.com, if you want to work one-on-one where I actually solve your problems live. If you need encouragement or if you're hand-wringing, I'm not the person for you because we get down to it and we do it live. But I can always recommend. And there are lots of editors in our community too. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.